Said I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
GOP presidential candidate John McCain and his running mate, Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, campaigned before thousands inside a Winner Aviation airplane hangar at the Youngstown-Warren Reginal Airport in Vienna, Ohio. Their visit to this area, which is historically Democrat, proves how pivotal Mahoning and Trumbull counties are to winning Ohio, a swing state which many politicals say is necessary to win the presidency. And now, John McCain speaks at the 2008 Road to Victory rally.
Next President of the United States, John McCain!
Old boy, big spender, earmarking business as usual, me first, the nation second. The old boy circuit in Washington is coming to an end, and it's going to end when we are elected to the presidency and the vice presidency of the United States, and it has to happen here in the state of Ohio. We need your vote. We need you to turn out. We can win in Ohio, and we have to win here. The working people of Ohio and this nation are the most innovative, the hardest working, the best skilled, the most productive, most competitive in the world. This foundation of our economy, the American worker, is strong, but it's been put at risk by the greed and mismanagement of Wall Street and Washington. The top of our economy is broken. We have seen self-interest, greed, irresponsibility, and corruption, yes, and corruption, undermine the hard work of the American people. It's time to set things right, and I promise to get the job done as your president. I promise you that. You know, Americans put a lot of trust in the bankers and brokerage firms of Wall Street. They depend on the financial service sector to protect their savings, their IRAs, their 401ks, pension plans. But many leaders in finance have proven unworthy of that trust. Government has a clear responsibility to act in defense of the public interest, and that's exactly what I intend to do. We're going to make sure that America's accounts are protected. I pledge that the FDIC and the SBIC will have all the support they need to fully back the savings of the American people. My friends, too many people on Wall Street have been recklessly wagering instead of making the sound investments we expected of them. And when their economies collapse and their companies collapse, only the CEOs seem to escape the consequences, while employees, shareholders, and other victims are left with nothing but trouble and debt. The people who helped cause the collapse make off with tens of millions in severance packages, and that's terrible. Too many people on Wall Street have forgotten or disregarded the basic rules of sound finance. In an endless quest for easy money, they dreamed up investment schemes that they themselves don't even understand, with their derivatives, credit default swaps, and mortgage-backed securities. They tried to make their own rules, but they could only avoid the basic rules of economics for so long. Now, as their schemes unravel and bankruptcies and collapse, it's once again the public who's left to bear the costs. And I promise you that on my watch, we're never going to let these kinds of abuses go uncorrected or unpunished. Too many practices on Wall Street have been kept hidden from public view to buy time, postpone the inevitable reckoning. Bad investments were made even worse, risks even allowed to multiply by keeping them off the books. derivatives, mortgage-backed securities, and other complicated instruments often disguised foolish investments, and were sold to insurance companies, pension funds, mutual funds, banks, and individuals. When the housing markets collapsed and the value of these securities went way down, our banks couldn't pay their debts. We saw Bear Stearns collapse, followed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. More recently, Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, and a troubled Merrill Lynch was sold to the Bank of America in order to survive. And now we have other banks and insurance companies at risk. So much of the loss and damage to our economy could have been avoided if these practices had been exposed to the light of day. People have a right to know when their jobs, pensions, investments, and our whole economy are being put at risk by the recklessness of Wall Street. And under my reforms for the financial sector, that fundamental right will be protected. Too many firms on Wall Street have been able to count on casual oversight by regulatory agencies in Washington, and there are so many of these regulators that the responsibility for oversight is scattered, unfocused, and ineffective. Among others, we've got the SEC, the CFTC, the FDIC, the SBIC, and the OCC. But for all those big and impressive sounding names, the fact is they haven't been doing their job right, or else we wouldn't have faced those massive problems on Wall Street. They haven't been doing their job right. Under my reforms, the American people will be protected by comprehensive regulations that will apply the rules and enforce them to the fullest. There will be constant access to the books and accounts of our banks and other financial institutions. By law, it will reduce the debt and risk that any bank can take on, and above all, I promise you, reforms to prevent the kind of wild speculation that can put our markets at risk and has already inflicted such enormous damage across our economy. My friends, 2 years ago, I warned the administration, the Congress, that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac needed to be fixed, and it turns out the problem was a lot bigger. They waited too long. Now we have a housing crisis, 3 bailouts with taxpayers' money, and a financial crisis. As for the Congress, members in both parties must accept a share of the responsibility. Some members seem to measure the financial health of banks and lenders by the size of their political contributions instead of the extent of their debt. They listen to the lobbyists instead of the accountants. I can promise you the days of dealing and special favors will soon be over, and in a McCain-Palin administration, the public interest in the country will always come first. Always. We've seen a telling moment in this campaign today. Senator Obama saw an economic crisis and has found a political opportunity. My friends, this is not a time for political opportunism. This is a time for leadership. And let's have some straight talk. Senator Obama is not interested in the politics of hope. He's interested in his political future, and that's why he's hurling in insults and making up facts about his record. Today, he claimed the congressional stimulus package was his idea. That's news to those of us in Congress who supported it. Senator Obama didn't even show up to vote. He talks a tough game on the financial crisis, but the facts tell a different story. Senator Obama took more money from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac than anyone but the chairman of the committee they answer to. And he put Fannie Mae's CEO, who helped create this problem, in charge of finding his vice president. That's not change. That's what's broken in Washington. Talked about siding with the people just before he flew off to Hollywood for a fundraiser with Barbra Streisand and his celebrity friends. Let me tell you, my friends, there's no place I'd rather be than here with the working men and women of Ohio. And I'm going to fight for you. And together we're going to win in November. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.